Hello, listeners. Welcome to Value Tech with ED. This is another episode. We have guest today, Afia. She is one of the greatest founders of a startup companies in the world. Let's welcome her. Welcome to Value Tech. Welcome to Value Tech with ED, Afia.
Thank you, UD, for giving me this opportunity to engage with your audience.
Fantastic. So let's start with your founder journey. So why you wanted to be a founder? Why did you start the company? So what is the story behind that?
Yes, so in June 2014, I was working for a think tank in Washington, D.C. called
Mhm.
Mathematical Policy Research. I was a senior programmer analyst too, helping generate national reports for the National Science Foundation, leveraging tools like statistical analysis software or SAS primarily to do that work. Then there was a SAS user group meeting, and I attended at the Bureau of Labor Statistics, met some of the academic leaders at SAS, and we started talking, and I shared with them that I was desiring to visit Accra, Ghana's capital, and launch the first chapter for a global organization that was dedicated to inspiring women to excel in their technology careers. So that was the moment in time. And so they were excited. I told them that I'll definitely have a SaaS workshop out of the seven workshops that I was going to execute, and we kept in touch. So I was able to go to Ghana, indeed, go and do the seven workshops, and then I returned back to the US and gave a report to the headquarters. Uh, and then I realized that there was a gap in the financial and operational resources for people who are in the diaspora, particularly who originated maybe from developing countries who are here to go back and give to emerging markets. And so through conversations with a friend who is an attorney, I was able to get the confidence that I would like to pursue an organization like Coders Who Travel with a mission to inspire and advance the careers of coders in emerging markets in developing countries, but also right here in advanced countries in hard to reach populations that we've served, like veterans, for example. And so that was the point in time when the idea happened from August 2014 through to February 2015, the next year. The idea very much came to get cemented in my heart.
That's a great idea. Yeah, we're glad. So, what is the challenge being a founder? The biggest challenge?
Yeah, so I like to say that as a mathematical scientist foremost, a philanthropist second, and also a musician third, right? One of the challenges to, I beg your pardon, founding the organization or running the organization, which was your question?
Biggest challenge being the founder.
Being the founder. I think for leading that 501c3 organization, which I founded in Coders Who Travel, there are two challenges. Because I'm in the nonprofit space and I work mission driven, some people out there have their own dreams and missions, and sometimes they feel that they can leverage the organization to serve their own missions and also do it and also expect that we do it for free or extremely low rates. So that's something that I'm constantly having to manage, that perception because nonprofits need profits to run the business as an entity. It's just that the profits cannot be doled out as investment to individuals and leaders, but has to be reinvested back into the company. But a lot of people, they hear you a nonprofit, and that is the assumption. The second challenge is getting consistent pro bono staff and donors consistently to support the mission of the organization. And so that is always something we are working on and always refining.
Hmm. Interesting. So, our podcast is aiming to bridge the gap between business and technology. So, as you see, there is a lot of technology disruption happening currently, mainly from AI or something else, something else. So, how do you adapt the technology?
How do I adapt to technology? First, it has to be familiar and something that piques my interest. One of the areas that I care about, because we try to democratize technology education to remote regions inclusively, right? Is how do you bridge that digital divide? If I want to run a virtual workshop here and my internet is good, but their internet is wacky, then how does that help? Or even if I go in country, but the network in the cities are stronger than the network in the villages, then, if we get a call like we do sometimes through our establishing technology footprints program, then that becomes a challenge of extending that internet connection. So I'm always interested in that. Also, through work and an incubator program, I got exposed to the area of computer vision, a problem area called image segmentation. The idea that you pick an image and you can get to the objects in that image, and also even do it if there is a presence of disturbance, whether from rain, snow, or fog. So I've become interested in that, and I'm not an expert in that, but that was fascinating to me that we can do that with technology.
Awesome, awesome. And also, just like the technology is evolving, the travel industry is also evolving, right? People are using the same technology and creating different mechanisms how this travel can be happen. So how is that? Do you see the impact in your organization or no?
To videos on YouTube and web searches. Also have a great network from places I've worked at, whether it be mathematical policy research or Deloitte Consulting or Booz Allen Hamilton, that I and classmates across my alma maters, George Mason and University of Ghana, that I get to either exchange information or attend lectures that they are sitting in. And also, when we run coding boot camps at Coders Who Travel, I typically facilitate and architect it and bring in various experts to teach over a 1 month period each. And so, those are some of the strategies I use to adapt to technology. And always download the free trial and get into doing it yourself. And then, once you are comfortable, consider purchasing the
So
product.
according to you, in the current world, to become a founder, what skills a person needs to have?
Determination, creativity, and not giving up easily. And also realizing that you don't have to have an extraordinary start to launch anything. Rather, if it's less glorious, it's even the better, because the way up from the bottom is better always, right? And so being mindful that it doesn't have to have an extraordinary beginning, but that creativity, determination, never giving up are skills that can serve people
Well
well.
said. Well said. And being a founder, you might have handled so many failures, right? What do you say if I ask you to help our listeners? How do you handle the failures?
Yeah, so it's okay to have an emotional moment when you encounter failure, because that's can serve as therapeutic for you to move on from whatever the failure is. But after resting and soaking it in, don't stay stuck in that failure. Because I've come to believe that life is about
Mhm.
memories, and the failure is giving you a bad memory. That's why some people can get stuck in that cycle of reliving the bad moments. But if you can just pursue a major, like in music, where there's a minor, you may have a major coming, right? And so your job is to pursue something new out of the failure, maybe what the failure taught you and how much clarity it brought. We've all heard of Thomas Edison and the light bulb and the many times he failed. But he must have been gathering notes from why it didn't work that many multiple times to leverage it for the future. And so that's what I try to do, sit with it for a while, but make sure I move on to the next thing that can better serve my skill sets and that I can give my all to in that moment.
That's a fantastic advice. So, what is your favorite part of being a business leader?
Oh, my favorite part is that I get to serve a mission authentically. And I get to partner with people, whether it be board members, donors, call volunteer, advisory board, partners around the world, and then get to contribute to the agenda right from the very beginning. And then also to bargain uh, the time I will give to it and the type of skill sets I will give to it. It also affords me the opportunity to walk alongside people and help them discover their strengths if they don't already know, or position them in places or parts of the workflow that will make their strength shine. And then if we discover any developmental areas, to be able to refine and improve those as well. And all of those points makes me happy and joyful about the work I do in that space.
Great. And how do you balance the work and personal life?
It's a great question. It's not always easy. Sometimes, even when I'm going to sleep at night, there are thoughts hit in my mind. But I found that if you write it down on a notepad, at least you know you haven't lost that thought, and then I could go back to sleep or something. But I try to prioritize my tasks by not just the level of importance, but what I'm excited to do the most right now. I also like to protect what some people say the Einstein hour, which is the best hours of the day where you are most present and sharp. Okay, so if let's say my hour is 11 a.m. to 12 or 1 p.m., I'm not giving you those hours unless it's very important, critically important for me to meet you in those couple of hours when I know I'm the most present, because I like to tackle the most complex and difficult challenges in those hours. And then, you know, my personal time, I compose Christian music. I lead a Bible study at church. I love playing table tennis and lawn tennis. And so after I serve in my mathematical scientist shoes, I look forward to always switching the hat. And also after leading coders who travel with the uh, remaining hours that remain after doing all of that. So it's a juggling. Someone has put it like it's like you're always juggling these balls, and some of them are glass balls, some of them are balls that bounce back. And it's your job to decide which are the glass balls and which are the balls that would, bounce back. And so that's the picture. whatever requires my urgent attention is what I'm doing at any given time, and that helps me balance my work and my personal as well.
Wow, well said. Thank you. Yeah. So we're getting into our end of the show. I would like to have some couple of casual questions. What is one book that you recommend to our listeners?
So if they haven't caught on, I'm a Christian, and so I would recommend the Bible. There is a chapter in it called the Book of Proverbs. It has 31 chapters, and I found some of the nuggets of wisdom in it very helpful and life changing. There's a verse that says, "He who refreshes others will himself be refreshed." Others translation says, "He who is generous towards others will themselves receive generosity from the Lord." And so when I give back, I am freely doing it, not knowing. Like if I go out there and give back to a young man in a village, I don't have the immediate reward that they'll be able to pay me back in most cases. But I'm confident and sound in the fact that because of that generosity and refreshment, some way, somehow, I'll also be refreshed and receive generosity from the Lord. Um, Guard your heart, for out of it flows all issues of life, is another favorite one. Um, Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but when desire is fulfilled, it's like a tree of life. I love that. And so I could go on and on about that book in the Bible.
Wow, thank you. And finally, what is one advice that you give to our upcoming business leaders?
So I already touched on not having a glorious entrance, right, or beginning. One of the challenging things is at the beginning of any refinement of product, uh, you have a lot of naysayers. When I tried to launch my album as a do-it-yourself musician, there were a lot of naysayers. When I decided I would pursue mathematical scientists in Ghana back in the early 2000s, there were people that said, "Oh, you're too pretty to do math." And if I had listened, I'd have missed out on a great career. And when I started Coders Who Travel to, there was a lot of naysayers, right? So having listened to all the risk involved in launching a product, if you truly believe in what you're doing, willing to learn and close the gaps in areas that you do not understand, and then go to bat, as in fight for the dream as much as possible, then you will win at the end of the day. Uh, and then I think one thing I'll add is don't be discouraged if you just get an audience of one for whatever product or service you are given in the beginning. Just build a world class product, refine your craft, polish your skill set, because all that is doing is creating a momentum towards the hundreds and the thousands of audience that you seek.
Thank you so much for your insights up here, and that's a great conversation. I'm glad that you are here on my show, Value Tech with UD. We're aiming to bridge the gap between business and technology.
Thank you, UD. It's a pleasure joining you on your show.